Hi, welcome back to my side of YouTube. So today, obviously, as you read in the title, we're doing a reading vlog. You guys are literally up against my laptop, or my sister's laptop, let me rather say. Yeah, you're literally up against my sister's laptop. And I'm gonna be reading. So this reading vlog is about the School for Good and Evil, Book 3, The Last Ever After. So this is a bit of a chunker. It has over 600 pages. It has approximately almost 660 pages. I'm gonna start reading this and I'll get back to you guys once I've finished the first chapter. Can we just appreciate the cover for like a second? Are we looking at this gorgeous cover? I love the cover. It's chef's kiss. Okay, so I finished chapter 1. Well, it was interesting to say the least, because I'm just gonna put a picture, so I'm just gonna hold it in my hand. Chapter 1 takes place like 3 weeks after book 2 ends, so 3 weeks after the last chapter in book 2. And it's very interesting. So we finally learn the name of the schoolmaster, which is interesting to say the least, because like I didn't watch the School for Good and Evil movie, but like I watched a review of it, and like the guy, he's like, my name's Rafal, and like I was like, when I was watching this review, I was like, dude, who the freak is Rafal? Rafal doesn't exist. Who's Rafal? And now I'm finding out in book 3 Rafal is the schoolmaster. So that was interesting, and it's interesting to see the dynamics of like Sophie and Rafal, because Sophie like was very conflicted after kissing Rafal in the second book, the last chapter of the second book, and now she's constantly like second guessing their relationship, wondering if she should move on, if she shouldn't, should she accept him, shouldn't she, is this like I don't know feeling, and it's interesting to come back into this world. And also, like, we're not really finding much about everything else around them, because the schoolmaster locked Sophie up in the tower. He wanted to propose, he wants them to seal their happily ending, even though it's not happy, right? But he wants them to seal that off. But she's second guessing everything, really. She's second guessing whether she should have accepted him. She's second guessing whether she should go with him, because she's contemplating the implications of being with Rafal. If she goes with Rafal, there's a lot of complications and implications to that. She has to accept that she's evil. She has to accept that they're kind of trying to have evil rule. She has to accept all of that, and she's not sure if she wants to do all of that. So it showcases that Sophie's more complex than I kind of want it to be. I'm not gonna lie, because I kind of want someone to hate. I really do want someone to hate, and this book is making me not want to hate people because they're more complicated, and I don't like it. about like, where am I actually? I'm on page 244. So I wanted to do a thing where each 200 pages or so, I would update you guys on the book. So, this book has been capturing my attention. I think I read almost 100 pages yesterday or something like that. Like, this is literally taking me back to like primary school. Primary school, I used to read like 100 pages to 150 pages a day, because that was like my only form of entertainment. I didn't have a phone. Well, not my only form, but like, yeah, TV gets boring after a while. So, yeah. So I literally used to read so much in primary school. I don't read that much anymore. Like, I don't read as much as I used to. But anyways, this book has been capturing my attention. So much has been happening. In chapter 2, we start seeing Agatha and Tedros, and seeing that things haven't been going too well for them either. So in the first chapter, we saw Sophie was constantly rejecting, the schoolmaster, who we learn his name is Raphael. And then, Tedros, and in chapter 2, we see Agatha and Tedros back now in Gavaldon. But remember, in Gavaldon, they want Agatha and Sophie dead. They want them dead because they believe they're witches, these people. But anyways, so obviously they can't like leave the house, so they have to be crammed in this like small house, because Agatha and her mom live in a very small house. And so much stuff happens during that time. There's a lot of resentment and bitterness that builds between the two. So we can see a lot isn't going so well with them. And even throughout the book, we see small, really tiny little snippets that, okay, maybe there's still love here, But for the most part, they're constantly bickering. They're constantly getting mad at each other. They're constantly ignoring one another. My goodness, like, it's so bad. It's literally so bad. And then on top of that, they now, both of them, like, want Sophie, to be in their ever after now. So, like, their book has been opened twice, and the world in the School for Good and Evil is like slowly dying, because the story has been open on one book for too long, one storybook for too long, because their ever after like was erased twice. Like, in the first book it was supposed to end, but then it reopened. In the second book it was supposed to end, but then it reopened. So like, there's just so much going on. Now the school's names have changed again. I swear, the school's names have changed again. Now it's the school for good is now the school for new evil, and the school of evil is called now the school of old evil. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And what's happening now? Like, everything is just wild. All the old villains from all the other stories who were dead, they're back to life now. They're changing their stories, killing all the heroes. Dude, it's actually crazy. And Merlin is now in here. Like, there's just like so much is happening, and it's so cool, and it's so great, and it's like capturing my attention so well. But one thing that we're seeing from here is that people are like, you believe that after the ever after, like, everything's supposed to be hunky-dory, everything's supposed to be amazing. But like, when you see like all the older like heroes, like Cinderella, Peter Pan, all these guys, like, they're very old now, so like, they're old people. And we see from them that actually after your ever after doesn't mean things are going to be smooth sailing. It actually, you still have challenges, you still have life to live, you still have so many things that you have to overcome, even after the happily ever after. And I think another thing maybe that could be an issue with a lot of these guys is that they're chasing happiness. And I think like, we shouldn't be chasing happiness, really. I think we are supposed to be chasing something else. Maybe it's peace, maybe it's serving one another and being selfless. But chasing happiness here seems to be backfiring on these people, because they make it seem as though evil's the only one that suffers, before and after the ever after. But good also suffers. Good also has trials to overcome. Good also has character development that it needs to go through. All these good people, like, the people who are in good, right? They got their issues too. They got their issues. They're very snappy. They're very rude. And not really respectful either. So they're not completely different from evil, And obviously people have, like Merlin was explaining, because good has been having a winning streak for 200 years. good started losing what good should be. All those values that they should be upholding, they started just losing that and becoming kind of similar to evil, really. Which again shows us that this whole thing of like good and evil, I do think there is good and evil in this school world or whatever, but over the last couple of 100 years it's kind of gotten very murky. Very murky, and some people are just good because of their parents or whatever like that. Yeah, their parents or their grandparents or something like that. So I'm like, that shouldn't, there should be more to this than that, you know. So it's been very interesting, it's been very cool to like read about. Now it's just been very interesting to read. And also seeing Agatha's like trust issues and like not trust issues, my wrong thing, more of her insecurities, and her insecurities playing into how she's constantly like attacking Tedros and constantly berating him and constantly saying a bunch of different things about him, and it all stems from her insecurities about her looks, because everyone, oh my gosh, they keep saying Tedros and Agatha's kids are gonna look very interesting. Okay, what's that supposed to mean? You think that, you know? And I think it's also like a huge thing is that's playing into her insecurities is the thing that, you know, like in all the storybooks, in all the fairy tales, you see like the good looking prince getting with the good looking princess, and Tedros is the good looking prince, but Agatha's not the good looking princess. And to now have to be like, oh, I'm apparently good, like obviously it's really hard for her. And then also thinking, am I even worthy to be with Tedros, and all these types of things, because she's not good looking, which is like annoying me also at the same time, because I'm like, dude, your character surpasses his in every way, shape or form. But both of them have beautiful things about them, and both of them have horrible things about them. So we see the more problematic side to both characters in this book. So it's been really a fun ride. It's been interesting, and my goodness, I just want to know more. So I'm literally going to be eating, and after I'm eating, I'm getting straight back into the world for the school of good and evil, because I need to understand how this is all going to happen. I need to know how this is all going to go. How are my babies doing? You know, my babies being Sophie, Agatha, and Tedros. How are my babies? And then obviously Hester, Anadol, and Dot. Like, of course, my babies. I need to understand how are all my kids doing, because they're all younger than me. So I need to know, how are my kids? How is everyone doing? Is everyone good? Is everyone fine? I was so busy talking about like Agatha and Tedros that I didn't even say much about Sophie, you know. So Sophie is still trying to find love, and that's why she's sticking so hectically with Rafal. But deep down, it seems like she knows Rafal might not be the one for her, and she's second guessing him continually, even looking at Hort in a new light, even looking at Auric in a new light, because Hort is now hung up, you know, in terms of like, you know, he's got the six-pack, he's got the muscles. So I laugh. And Hort doesn't like her, because obviously Hort feels very betrayed by Sophie because of what happened in book 2, how she was supposed to choose him for the tale by trials or trial by tales, whichever one it is, and she chose Tedros instead. So he's mad at her. Oh my goodness, he's mad. But I still stand by my original statement, okay? Hort and Sophie are endgame, and I really hope it happens. Because every time I'm reading her talking about, like, you know, her wanting Tedros or her trying so hard to love Rafal, I keep thinking it's Hort. Hort is the one. Like, look at me, it's Hort, okay? Hort. Every single time. And I'm just like, dude, go to Hort. Like, Hort is the one. He is the man. And if you're not gonna take him, I will, because I love Hort and he's amazing. He's not perfect, but like, come on, man. Like, every single time I just keep, literally every time she's having these like heart hesitations, I'm like, Hort, why are you not thinking about Hort? So yeah, so obviously now when someone wants to do anything to be loved and to keep love, that can be very scary, because that person could start to do some very dangerous things. So there's so much we're learning about this world, and it's very fascinating to see how like Gavaldon plays into like all the other kingdoms in the woods and all that kind of stuff, and what that painting prophecy that August Sader, Professor Augustus or August Sader drew, painted, whatever, in book 1. Like, it's just interesting to see how some of that now we're starting to understand a little bit more about that painting and what it means. Like, it's crazy. Like, I want to keep going, but I have a call with someone soon, so I can't continue, and the call's literally in 4 minutes. But like, I've just been enjoying this book. It's literally capturing my attention so well because I want to know what's gonna happen, and the stakes are so high. Oh my gosh, by the stakes are so high, I mean they could die. That's what the high stakes are. Death for everyone, death for the whole kingdom, death for every single person in this book. If the storybook is not closed, every single person in this kingdom could, in the School for Good and Evil and in the fairy tale world as we know it, death. So that's why the storybook needs to be closed. If it's not closed, death for everyone. So I'm just anxious. I just want to see what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm just enjoying this ride, honestly just enjoying this ride. The relational dynamics, everything, just. And then Sophie trying to get Tedros back. When someone will do anything for love, this is the kind of scary stuff they do. Or worse, it could be worse. It really could be worse. But then when you take into consideration that like everyone's lives depends on Sophie, Agatha, and Teddy doing good, when you take all of that into consideration, you're like, yay, guys, you can't be selfish right now. Like, you literally can't be selfish right now. Everyone's lives is in danger because of the three of you. Oh my gosh. Like, dude, this book, okay? Like, if you haven't read this series, I mean, I don't know why you'd be watching a reading vlog of book 3, but if you haven't read the series, go back. It's so good. It's so good. Anyways, now I understand why it's like 600 pages, because I'm like, no, we could have never covered all of this in like 400 pages. Well, it's not gonna work. There's so much more we need to learn, to understand. How does Agatha's mother fall into all of this? I thought she was a reader. I thought she was a normal person. Kanti, turns out homegirls from the woods. Huh. I'm shook. I like, we're just finding out so much. We're finding out so much hidden gems, and I'm like, whoa. People, now I'm curious about everybody now. Who's what, like what was going on? Because Agatha's mom was from the woods, was a teacher in evil. A teacher in evil. Okay, so I want to know, okay, was Sophie's mom also part of that? Because Sophie's mom's grave, she has a grave in, what was it called, Necro's grave or something like that, like where the most wicked villains are buried. Why does Sophie's mom have a grave there? I have so many questions, bro. So, I mean, I already knew from book 1, Callus, like what's going on? But then as more and more time going by, I didn't expect this though. I didn't expect that she was actually from like the woods. I didn't expect that at all. I didn't see that coming. So yeah, it's very fascinating. Guys, if you haven't given this book a read, please read the series, okay? Read the series, because all my attention has been stolen by this book. it's like been a whole week now. It's Sunday, and I'm on page 521, so I'm like way past the 400 page mark. The book has been going really well. Like, so much has happened. Sophie's now queen of evil, Agatha's now quote unquote queen of good. Like, these guys they like going into their roles, and all of a sudden selfish Sophie, all of a sudden, I keep saying this all the time because I'm like, where did she get this from? All of a sudden she cares about evil. All of a sudden she cares about the students being evil. All of a sudden. Oh, but that dies quickly, because immediately after that, while they're all getting injured, she's like, you gotta work harder. And she don't care if they're getting injured. She doesn't care if like they literally have to go to the infirmary like every single day because they're fighting undead zombies, undead villains. They're just like, she doesn't care that they're just getting injured all the time. I'm like, okay, so how do you expect these guys to fight when they're injured? So I'm like, yeah, keep injuring them, because they're not going to be fit to fight on the day that they're supposed to fight, because you keep killing them and injuring them. Like, one person even died through this whole training. I just personally think it's torture. But yeah, like, so much has happened. You know, Agatha and Tedros made up. Sophie and Raphael made up. I just like you. But overall, the stakes are still high. Many people could still die. Somehow Gavaldon is mixed in with this. Somehow Agatha's mom is mixed in with this. And I also think Sophie's mom is somehow mixed in with all of this. And then also, why did Lady Lesso at the end of one of the chapters call Sophie her child? My child. Like, was she saying my child because like she's a mentor, quote unquote, or like fairy godmother to Sophie? Or did she say my child because Lady Lesso actually might be Sophie's mom? Because Sophie's mom's grave was empty. Like, I think we all found that suspicious, right? We all found that suspicious that her mom's grave was empty. So I just found that suspicious. I think we should all find that suspicious and wonder why her grave is empty and why Lady Lesso is calling Sophie her child. Like, these are just questions I have amongst others, but so far I'm enjoying this book. I mean, at this point it's like 4 stars. Like, it's not 5. It's definitely not 5, but it's definitely 4. It's definitely 4.25. Like, it's definitely hitting that edge, you know. So it's just been really good. It's a chunker. So much has happened. You know, there's been character development between both Sophie and Agatha. Sophie embracing evil, Agatha finally embracing being a queen. Even though she doesn't feel like she can be a queen of a kingdom, she feels like she can be Tedros's queen. So she's like, well, if I'm going to be your queen, I can do that. Well, if I'm going to be like thinking about it from like being a queen of like a whole kingdom, I don't think I'm going to do so well. And again, I've been laughing. I've been laughing at just like dumb things. I don't know if other people would be laughing, but it was funny to me. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's been really good. Okay, so I finally finished the School for Good and Evil book 3, and it was really interesting. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think if I'm being more critical, it's like 4.25 or 4 stars, but I really enjoyed it. Like, I was constantly like wanting to know what was going on, what was gonna happen. I was worried that the characters were gonna die like 5 million times. Like, I was just so worried for them, and I was so sucked into the story. So I'm like, 4.5, why not, you know? Like, book 3 was very interesting. And for anyone who read book 3, I no longer like Cinderella's prince. Yeah, the guy, that gets Cinderella. I hate him now. I hate him, and I want him dead. He's a terrible guy. Like, how do you destroy a family like that? You just destroyed a whole family. Like, the stepmother, I don't mind that she died, but the stepsisters, he didn't even try to understand Cinderella. Like, He didn't even talk to her. She didn't even know him. Like, oh my goodness. Like, so I just wasn't about that prince. I hate him now. But it's so interesting that we finally learn that Sophie and Aggie are sisters. Like, this already got spoiled for me, so it wasn't as shocking, unfortunately. But it was still interesting to see how in heaven's name are they sisters. Like, are they both like Agatha's moms, or are they both like Sophie's moms? Turns out they're both Sophie's moms child. And it's just so interesting to see how they like were conceived. Well, we don't see how they were conceived, but like we see the birth of both of them, where you'd think only Sophie was born, Agatha was also born, and Sophie is older than Aggie by like a couple of minutes. So it's really interesting to see like how like they're sisters, and why they're sisters, and who's their parents and stuff. And then why does like Agatha's mom look so much like Aggie, and why does Sophie's mom look so much like Sophie? Kanti, there was magic involved to make all of that happen. So it's like, oh, this is a very fascinating to get a little bit of Callis's backstory, Vanessa's backstory, Vanessa being Sophie's mom, Callis being Agatha's mom. So it's just so fascinating to see how all of this comes into play. And I'm just so sad for Callis at the same time, because I wish she had found love, honestly, because I mean that's the whole reason why she left like the fairy tale world and came to like the world beyond the woods, was because she wanted to find love. And I'm just so sad that she kind of never found like romantic love, but I am happy that she did find love, and she found that in the person of Agatha as a baby, because Sophie's mom was disgusting and decided because again, like one of the things that is heavily emphasized, Agatha is ugly. Like I just physically she's ugly, like, and they're just so rude about it, like especially Sophie's mom is so rude about it, like she's so disrespectful. She was like, nah, get that child away from me, kill that child, because she is so ugly. And then she kept Sophie because Sophie's so beautiful and Agatha is so ugly physically looking. But it's funny because like their facial features, physical features don't match like their souls, because though Sophie is the beautiful one outside, internally she's ugly. And then with Agatha, externally she's ugly, but internally she's beautiful. So it's just very fascinating to see like how all of this was presented. And I'm also glad that, you know, at the end Sophie is starting to learn, you know, to appreciate being alone, because obviously Agatha learned to appreciate being alone, and she loved being alone for so many years. And then obviously now she's with Tedros and all that kind of stuff, but like for Sophie, being alone was just like never in the question. It's like, oh hell no, I want a prince, I want this. And for so long she's been wanting a man, you know, whether it was Tedros or Rafal, even though she didn't really want Rafal. And now she's finally learning learning and appreciating being alone, which is really nice. So like book 5, she better get with Hort, okay? I'm glad. Like I need her to take a couple of years where she's just like spending time alone, being alone, not wanting a relationship, whatever. And then Hort comes in, and they get together. Because though I love that Sophie's learning to be alone, I think it's a good lesson that she needs to learn. I also think, you know, after a couple of years, her and Hort need to get together. So yeah, I really enjoyed the book. It was really nice. Out of the 3, I think book 1 and book 3 are tied in my head. I think they're tied. Yeah, book 2 wasn't as great as book 1 and book 3, but book 1 and book 3 are like chef's kiss. I love them both. Yeah, I do wish the way that would have expound more on like Hester, Annabelle, Dot, you know, like these side characters. I wish we'd have spent a little bit more time with them, just to get to know them a little bit more. But overall, I mean, you know, overall it was really good. I think I really enjoyed it. Yeah, well, why am I saying I think? Overall, I really enjoyed it. Like I can't wait to get book 4 to get book 7, because there is a book 7. Book 4 to 6 is still following our characters, and then book 7 is about the schoolmasters, the good schoolmaster and the evil schoolmaster, and how all of that went down. So I can't wait to continue this series. Like, it's gonna be such a fun series to continue, and I can't wait. By the way, how these two girls like kept their friendship kind of quote unquote throughout this whole thing, I don't know. Because personally, me, I would have dumped Sophie a long time ago. Like, I'm just being honest. So how Aggie is still friends with Sophie, like, till this day, I have no idea, because it could never be me. It could never be me. I'm sorry that the lighting keeps like changing and stuff, but it just could never be me. I'm just being honest. I'm just being for real. Like, it could never be me. So Agatha is definitely a way better person than me. She's way better at giving people second, third, fourth, fifth, 20th chances than me. Because me personally, I would say, you've burned me too many times, Sophie. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So how she does it, I don't know. But I'm really glad though that their friendship has still persevered throughout this whole thing, because sometimes I used to question, girl, how are you still trying to be friends with her? She keeps stabbing you in the back. She keeps being selfish over and over and over. But I think she saw something in Sophie that I don't, because she said, I'm still gonna keep trying. I'ma still keep trying. And her hard work, it does pay off. It really does. But I just don't know if it could ever be me. I don't know. So thank you for watching this reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and that you don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube things, and I'll see you in another one. Bye, guys.